desperately trying to get the car to turn, but it won't happen. The car will back up, but he cannot turn the car and move it ahead to clear Ernie Irvan.
That's just the way it goes sometimes. Everybody at Robert Yates Racing deserves a lot better than this. You know, they deserve to win that championship this year. The fans have been great. It just wasn't meant to be.
Bill Elliott comes off the fourth corner. He wins the Hooters 500. But Alan Kowicki is coming off of corner number 4, knowing that he's winning the championship. There's the checkered flag for Alan. He's the champion for 92.
I'm sure Kowicki's going to do something spectacular. Let's see.
Remember his first win at Phoenix? He took what he called, and these are his words, a Polish victory lap.
Yep.
And guess what? He's going to do it again.
This truly is a dream come true. I hope that in the year to come I will be a good representative. I hope that when 1993 is over that people at Winston, the people at NASCAR, and the competitors all look back and say, we were proud to have him represent us as our champion.
A year ago today, King Richard Petty retired with 7 NASCAR Winston Cup championships. Insurmountable? Maybe not.
I think I came along at the right time. I don't know if anybody will ever come along with the circumstances as good as what Richard Petty did. To me, he's a true champion because he wins championships by racing for championships. He doesn't stroke around to try to make points and stuff. He goes out there and wins the races. And to be a true champion, I think he's supposed to win races. So, you know, if anybody has to do it, then I wouldn't mind seeing Dale do it.
When you started out in racing, you start out trying to get somewhere, try to win. First of all, get in racing. Second of all, try to win. To win one championship was impressive. To have now won 5 is really impressive, but it's put us close enough to the mark that it's possible to win 7 championships in our career. Now we're looking at a goal of 7 championships.
Dale Earnhardt, employing his aggressive driving style, is on the threshold of his 6th title in only his 15th full year of competition. Since his rookie year of '79, he has won 53 races on the short tracks and on super speedways. The Dominator has earned his nickname well. In a season in which the man in black has been no lower than 2nd in points, Earnhardt can accomplish today what no one other than the King has ever done.
Way I figured you go to Atlanta, finish about 30th or better, you're number 6.
I want to win the race.
Huh?
I want to win the race at Atlanta.
And the pole?
Coverage welcomes you to Atlanta Motor Speedway in Triple Championship Weekend. The final race of the '93 season, the Hooters 500. It is cloudy about 20 miles south of Atlanta here at the racetrack, but the forecast is for no rain. Hi everyone, I'm Bob Jenkins. In about 4 hours time, we'll know who the champion is for the 1993 NASCAR Winston Cup season. The point standings will show you that Dale Earnhardt has a 126-point lead on Rusty Wallace. Kyle Petty is looming just outside of the top 5 and with a good finish today could move as high as 4th. But it is not over yet. Dale Earnhardt can wrap up the title with a 34th or better place finish, but remember last year he finished last in 3 different races. And it's not over because remember what happened here at the race last year. Just as the cars came across the line to complete lap number 1, there was trouble, triggered by those starting in the front row, Rick Mast and Brett Bodine. There was a huge melee down in turn number 1. Several cars were involved. And for 2 of the drivers, the race was over, including Bodine. Since practice began here on Friday, we've seen several in the wall. Ken Schrader crashed on his qualifying attempt, and he had to go to his backup car. Jeff Gordon's accident in practice destroyed his primary car, and he too was forced to a backup. Even Earnhardt himself started off his championship quest with a meeting of the second turn wall. He got out of the car under his own power and limped to the ambulance. But after a checkup in the infield care center, Dale let us know that he was unhurt and undaunted in his championship quest. I guess you could say so far his weekend has been a tale of two cars. For more on that, here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you, Bob. Actually, it could be called a tale of three cars. You know, Dale's dad, Ralph Earnhardt, couldn't be here to see his son be so successful, so it's seemingly appropriate that an associate sponsor by the name of Mom and Pops would pay the freight for a third race car to be here in Atlanta. Neil Bonnet has an identical Chevrolet Lumina starting back in 35th spot. Why? If this car doesn't crank, Dale will jump out of this car, run back and jump into that one that's been set up for him, and try to win a championship. Now let's talk to the possible six-time champion. And Dale, it's a 126-point margin. How do you play it today?
Well, you'd probably look on the safe side to start with, but once the mathematics will work out, we want to try to go up here and win this race. I feel like the car's good enough too, and you know the manufacturer's cuts on the line. We'd like to do that for Chevrolet, but most we'd like to win that championship with Goodwrench and our race team.
A lot of concern about the slick racing surface and some of the sealer that's been put down?
A whole lot on my part anyway. We done lost one car, so we'll be okay.
Well, they're planning for Richard Childress' team to have anything happen, they will be able to fix it. At least they hope so. For more, here's our John Kernan.
Well, the Richard Childress racing team has left no stone unturned in their search for that $1 million championship. They brought a truck down with every conceivable spare part you might need to rebuild a race car. Now, also, let's say if Earnhardt would back it into the wall, they've got a frame machine. They can straighten out the frame just as good as new and do it pretty quickly. Now, a list of the inventory of the parts, they've got a new front and rear clip. They've got a fuel cell. They've also got a completely assembled rear end that they can put into the race car if they should have a problem. I guess you could say that they've thought of absolutely everything because, yes, they've even thrown in the kitchen sink.
And Rusty Wallace has thrown about everything except the kitchen sink at Dale Earnhardt's team to try to beat him for the championship. Rusty, you start right beside him today in 20th spot. How do you challenge today's race?
Well, I just got to run as hard as I possibly could. The track wasn't in real good shape when we qualified, and I drove pretty timid. That's the reason we're starting this far back. But the car is running strong. I believe I got a car that can win this race. And so, you know, I'm going to have to run hard, and I think Dale will probably take it easy a little bit until some more cars fall out until he feels like he's got the thing locked up. But my game is run as hard as I can, hope he has some problems real early, and just do everything I can. And if I come up short, hey, I can still say I had a great year because I'm just thankful for what all the fans have done for me this year, sticking behind us, and it's been a great year. A couple tragedies, and it's terrible, but I'm looking forward to running this last race and trying to win this thing for everybody.
And if he would win it, it would be his 10th win in 1993. But there's more at stake here besides the Winston Cup Championship. A lot else up for grabs. For more, here is Ned and Benny.
You're right, Jerry. There is a lot more up for grabs. There are a lot of drivers who are trying to get higher in the point standings or either preserve the position that they have going into this race because there's a lot of money at stake in the different positions in the point standings.
And not only money, points positions, but careers are on the line today. Let's look at the 12 car. Jimmy Spencer qualified 5th. Spencer's moving on to a good ride. The 12 car does not have a driver or a sponsor. If they could win the race, maybe they could pick up both a driver and a sponsor. Bobby Hamilton qualified 6th today. And this guy doesn't even have a ride in 1994. If he could win today or run well, maybe he could pick up one of the rides that's available, maybe even the 12 car. How about Jeff Bodine? He qualified 11th in the car he bought from Alan Kawicki. He still hasn't a sponsor for 1994. Jeff Bodine really needs to run well. Let's go back to Jimmy Horton. He qualified 14th, and Horton been looking for a sponsor for about a year and a half now. Maybe a good run today would mean a sponsor for Horton. And how about Rick Wilson? He qualified 36th. He's leaving the STP Pontiac, has nothing, is looking for a ride. Maybe a win today or a good run could get him a ride for 1994.
And one other thing, we're talking about those point standings, getting on the stage at the awards banquet in New York in a couple of weeks. Only the top 10 in the point standings get to go up on stage. And believe you me, that means a lot to a lot of drivers. So there's a lot of them that are fighting to get into the top 10. Now, Bob, there's one guy starting way back in the field, Mark Martin, back in 32nd position. I think he's going to make some excitement for us early in this race.
We'll certainly watch for him, and he will carry one of our in-car cameras. For the 30th and final time of 93, the command has been given. The engines have fired. In a moment, we'll be ready. ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Hooters Restaurants, always delightfully tacky yet unrefined. By Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil, add more life to your car. And by AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, it's like buying time.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time. Now through December 4th, get started with up to $14 cash back on Delco Freedom batteries.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway near Hampton, Georgia, about 20 miles south of Atlanta. And the Bud 1 airship, which has used its eye-in-the-sky camera at more than 50 events, traveling throughout the country, will be providing the overhead shots for us today. The cars are running, and they will be pulling away in just a few moments. But right now, let's take a look at the track that they will be competing on here this afternoon. It is a 1.522-mile oval. The pole speed was 176.902. Time, 30.973 seconds. Will go 328 laps, and the field separated by just about 5 miles per hour. Well, there's a look at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the pits are located only on the front stretch here. The turns 1 and 2 are banked at 24 degrees. The backstretch is banked at only 5 degrees. The length of the backstretch is 1,320 feet. Similarly, back in turns number 3 and 4, the banking is also there at 24 degrees. And the front stretch banked at 5 degrees and 1,320 feet, but there's a lot of turn in this racetrack, Benny.
Yeah, 1,320 feet. The straightaways, the turns, that means they're 2,640 feet because they're exactly twice as long as the straightaways. The turns a half mile long and the straightaways 1/4 mile long. So a very physical racetrack for the drivers here today.
A record crowd is on hand here for this wrap-up of the 93 season, and now the cars begin to pull away. There are 42 starters in this event. Look at the crowd that's gathered here. They've built more stands since we were here last, and each and every seat is filled as we watch to find out who will win not only this race, but the Winston Cup Championship for 1993. And the balloons have been released from the infield, or are being released. Orange and white, the colors of Hooters, the sponsor of this race, and a beautiful sight as we get the shot from Bud 1 airship as they fly high overhead Atlanta Motor Speedway.
One of the concerns that they had that the 3-car might not fire, let me tell you, it did start. Earnhardt is on his way.
Here's the starting lineup for today's Hooters 500. The pole sitter is Harry Gant, his first pole since September of 1991 in North Wilkesboro. And on the outside of that front row will be Brett Bodine from Chemung, New York. That's exactly where he started last year in the Quaker State Ford. Row number 2 is Rick Mast. He was a pole sitter last year in the Skull Classic Racing Ford car number 1. Outside the second row, his best start, Ted Musgrave from Franklin, Wisconsin in the Jasper Engines US Air Ford car 55. The third row, Jimmy Spencer in the Meineke Ford car number 12. And outside, Bobby Hamilton from Nashville, Tennessee in the Phenaloop Ford car number 20. The fourth row, the Texaco Haviland Ford car number 28, driven by Ernie Irvan. And outside will be Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia in the Budweiser Ford car number 11. The fifth row, great start for Rich Bickle from Edgerton, Wisconsin in the Bullseye Ford car 45. To his outside will be Jackson, Mississippi's Lake Speed driving the Motorcraft Ford car number 15 with a new paint job. The sixth row, Jeff Bodine from Chemung, New York in the Family Channel Ford number 7. And then the Heilig Myers Ford car number 90 driven by Bobby Hillen from Midland, Texas. Seventh row has Ricky Rudd in the Tide Chevrolet. He's from Chesapeake, Virginia. And Jimmy Horton in the Wheels Race Car Chevrolet car 32. The eighth row, Jeff Gordon in 24 and Morgan Shepard in 21. The ninth row, Jimmy Hensley in car number 4 and Dick Trickle in 41. 10th row, there are the two championship contenders, Dale Earnhardt on the inside and Rusty Wallace on the outside.
And Ken Schrader wrecked in practice. Of course, he was the fastest qualifier the second day, so he'll start 21st. Phil Parsons taking over for Todd Bodine, who wrecked yesterday in the Busch race here and not feeling too well today. But Benny, some good cars starting back in the pack.
Some tremendous cars. When we get on, as you see, we go through the lineup, you'll see a lot of cars. Michael Waltrip, Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett, Terry Labonte in 15th, 16th row. Look at Neil Bonnet, Rick Wilson back in the 18th, Mark Martin in row 17, and Sterling Marlin. There we see Dallenbach, row 19, along with Dave Marcus, T.W. Taylor in row 20, and Kenny Wallace. And look at the provisional, Kyle Petty and Hud Strickland. So great race cars all the way through the field.
Weather has already played a part in the strategy. Here's Jerry Punch.
Exactly, Bob. I'm in Darrell Waltrip's pit. Now, Barry Dodson is the crew chief, but you notice anything different about their pits here? Look behind me. There's no crew here. In fact, just Stevie Waltrip, Darrell's wife, on top of the box because the crew has not been able to land because of fog at the airport. And Barry just asked Stevie, do you want to change the inside or the outside tires? But seriously, they have a problem. The spotter for the 5 cars in here, Jack Roush, has 16 guys missing right now. Rusty Wallace's crew just got here about 4 minutes ago. We are told Bill Elliott's Junior Johnson team is missing 4 guys. The catch can man for Dale Jarrett, and on and on. The weather has already been a major factor here as we get ready to go to green.
It was very foggy earlier this morning, but the fog has burned off a little bit as we get set to race in one more lap. We have a lot of in-car cameras that will be working today. Jimmy Hensley will carry one in the number 4 car. Looking out the side of that car up to the cars in front of him. Here's Mark Martin, who, as Ned indicated, will be way back in the field for the start. We'll be watching him and his telemetry throughout the afternoon. There is Jeff Bodine, who will also carry one of the in-car cameras sponsored by Orkin. Their car, driven by P.J. Jones, did not make the race, so the Orkin people have moved the in-car camera to Jeff Bodine's machine. Here's a number 15 car that will be driven by Lake Speed, and we also will have telemetry with that car. We've got a lot of in-car cameras to show you all the action. We'll take a quick break and be right back with the start of the Hooters 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Stay with us.
So I said to Henny, of course chickens are more important to Hooters than owls.
Who?
Chickens, that's who.
I beg to differ.
Well, beg all you want. Without chickens, there'd be no chicken sandwiches or chicken salad. Or Hooters' famous chicken wings. There'd be no Hooters if it weren't for chicken.
It's really not wise to even argue the point.
That's because I'm right.
No, that's because you're not going to be around long anyway. Chicken.
Robert, we're ready.
Okay. Got it warmed up?
Yeah.
Before a Robert Yates engine makes it to the track, it's torture tested right here.
Well, let's do it.
And there's only one motor oil Yates relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3. The same Haviland Formula 3 you can buy right off the shelf.
215 degrees, 8,700.
That's race ready.
Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
It's running like a winner. That'll get the job done.
Where you see a close encounter, Ford sees a way to make braking safer for you. Where you see a crowded corner, Ford sees ways to make cornering more secure. It's why we race. Every time you see Ford take home another trophy, Ford has seen ways to win something far more important: every driver's confidence. Have you driven a Ford lately?
We're just about to get the green flag on the Hooters 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. ESPN Speed World coverage live this afternoon. The fog is beginning to burn off. Some of the crews are beginning to arrive. There are the 2 championship contenders that we will determine a champion in about 4 hours' time. Dale Earnhardt or Rusty Wallace, they start side by side. The pace car is off of the track. The field comes out at corner number 4. And for the last time this year, the green is out. We are underway.
position alongside Dick Trickle. He's got the 68 car of Greg Sens between he and Rusty Wallace.
And Earnhardt trying to pick up another position. To his right now is the 4-car driven by Jimmy Hensley, and the second lap is about to be completed now. Earnhardt will make it 3 wide at the starting line. Jimmy Horton is the man in the middle. Let's see what happens as they go to 1. He got it. Wow.
The man can't stand it. He's got to race.
He's got to pass somebody.
Oh, yeah. That's just his nature. He's just got to go. And that car is good. He said it was good, and apparently it is.
This is the backup car. He wrecked the primary car during practice. In fact, just a few minutes after practice began on Friday, he's passed another car, Jeff Bodine.
Look at Jeff Bodine saw that steering wheel trying to keep the back end under the car all the way through the corner.
The leader of the race is Harry Gant. Rick Mast running second, then Ted Musgrave, Jimmy Spencer, and Ernie Irvan.
We see Earnhardt underneath Rich Bickle. That's Bickle on the outside. Morgan Shepherd, Jeff Gordon right directly in front.
Boy, Earnhardt is moving fast. Now he comes up on Morgan Shepherd in 21 and Jeff Gordon in 24. Looking back on Earnhardt from Morgan Shepherd's Citgo Ford.
Oh, man. Didn't he say he was going to take it easy? Didn't I think? I thought I heard him say he was going to take it easy.
I guess that's his version of taking it easy.
Here's Jerry Punch on pit road at Earnhardt's pit.
I talked to the engine builder for Richard Childress, Denny Lawrence. He said, ordinarily when you're trying to win a championship, you back down on the timing, run a little Richard Jets, and put a different gear in the car to make the car run conservative. But we said, hey, Dale said he would take care of the car, wouldn't run many RPM, so we went ahead and put the regular gear, the regular timing, and we set it up to win the race here. Dale said he would look after the car early on. Well, apparently, he's looking after it quite nicely. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Jerry, another Childress car that was piloted by Neil Bonnet has pulled it into the garage area. They've run a few laps. They're going to sit it down in the garage area. It will have some parts on it just in case they run into trouble that they could potentially switch. So in order to help a fellow Chevrolet team, we told you Darrell Waltrip's crew is having problems getting here. Dale Earnhardt's Busch Grand National crew, Tony Uri and the gang, we're going to pit for Bonnet today. They have come into the Western Auto pit, and they will be doing the pit stop. Now, Barry Dodson, the crew chief for Darrell Waltrip, who normally runs the jack, is going to stand on the sidelines this afternoon and watch this team pit the car because he doesn't want to upset their rhythm. Let's go back down pit road to Jerry Punch.
And John, that 31 car that's now in the garage area is set up not for Neil Bonnet, but for Dale Earnhardt. It has the springs, the shocks. It has Earnhardt set up. That's why Bonnet didn't qualify that well. The car is set up exactly how Dale wants it. So if they need to pull the car apart, they'll have to change nothing at all except put it on the primary car.
Dale Earnhardt has moved to 11th. Now he challenges Brett Bodine for 10th position. Rusty Wallace is back in 20th, where he began this race.
And there's the leaders. There's Ernie Irvan, who's fought his way up to 3rd spot already.
Ted Musgrave with a great run in the car number 55, challenging Irvan down on the inside, trying to take over 3rd position.
Ernie had just passed Musgrave the lap before. Now Musgrave comes back.
They are wheel to wheel into turn 1. This is the battle for 3rd spot.
A little bit of contact between those two, I think.
Musgrave the advantage now on the inside. And that's Jimmy Spencer right behind them.
Of course, Harry Gant is the leader, and Rick Mast is in 2nd place. The Stoll cars out front. Here's Spencer now trying to move up on the outside of Musgrave.
This becomes the battle for 4th position now. Jimmy Spencer and Ted Musgrave.
Bob, I think some of them were perhaps a little apprehensive about the 2nd groove here and moving up there. However, there have been 2 races here, the ARCA race on Friday and the Busch race yesterday, which has helped to work in another groove, but still they were a little concerned about getting up in that 2nd groove, but not Jimmy Spencer. He drove right on up there and went around.
Both of our 2 previous races here on Triple Championship Weekend have been filled with accidents, ARCA and BGN. Let's hope it isn't that way today. Here is Wallace now trying to move to the inside of Bobby Hamilton. Just ahead is Jeff Bodine as Rusty picks up 1 spot.
Looking back out of the back of Jeff Bodine's Orkin Family Channel car at Rusty Wallace. Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. Will we be able to say that next year? Oh, look at how he comes off that corner, does Rusty.
Got a good run off the corner, moves on the inside of Jeff Bodine and takes that position with ease.
So now Rusty begins to pick off the positions in front of him as Harry Gant continues to lead. Mass second, Irvan third, Spencer fourth.
Bill Elliott is fifth.
Ed Musgrave in sixth position. We're riding with Jeff Bodine. Here's Michael Waltrip trying to take the position away from Jeff Bodine at the end of the backstretch. He's got him.
And Jeff Bodine, this is a backup car that Jeff Bodine is driving. He crashed his primary car yesterday in practice, tore it up, had to go to a backup.
Michael Waltrip has picked up about 10 or 12 positions since he started. And here's Rusty making another pass. Makes it look easy. Moves on the inside of Jimmy Hensley in the Kodak car. Moves right on around. I think Rusty might have been taking it easy there for a little bit till the cars got strung out a little bit, got the feel of the car, and he can't afford to stay back too long, but he also needs to have that car running all day if he has any chance at winning the championship.
All right, here's Jerry Punch.
We mentioned Jeff Bodine wrecked his Ford Thunderbird yesterday. They rolled the backup car out to try to use it in today's race, but decided they would stay until 8:30 last night and fix the primary car. So this morning they made a decision to race the primary car. They had to fix the left front side, the front clip, the left side suspension, the entire left side sheet metal. But this is the same car. Unbelievably, it's the same car he smacked the wall with about 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
Wow, they told me last night he wiped the car out. What a great job the crew did in fixing that thing.
Rusty Wallace has moved to 15th, but ahead of him is the potential champion for 93, Dale Earnhardt, who has passed Jeff Gordon now. Up front, it continues to be Harry Gant, the leader of the race, who has a rather comfortable lead at the moment over Rick Mast, who is running in second spot.
The Jackson brothers must be delighted. This is Leo Jackson's car leading, and Richard Jackson, his brother, his car is running second.
Here comes Ernie Irvan in third, and then the battle for fourth position. Bill Elliott beginning to show some muscle. He, of course, is the defending champion of this event and missed the championship by inches last year in that great and historic race with Alan Kulwicki. We've been green all the way for the first 15 laps.
As we watch this, let me just tell you that Jeff Gordon just passed Dale Earnhardt, so
Earnhardt has lost a position after picking off several. It's Gant, Rick Mast, Ernie Irvan, Bill Elliott, and Jimmy Spencer in the top 5 at the moment. There is the leader coming out of turn 2. There he is, going down the backstretch. Handsome Harry Gant is the leader of the Hooters 500. We'll be back with more live coverage from Atlanta Motor Speedway in a moment.
Robert, all we need here is some oil and we'll be ready to crank. Okay. Jeff, get us 2 cases. I have one.
Yes, sir, right away. Robert, we're out.
Get us 2 cases and fly.
There's only one motor oil that Robert Yates Racing relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3 from Texaco. The same Haviland Formula 3 you can use in your car.
That was quick.
Yeah, they had it right down the street.
Hey, we got 15 minutes to walk.
Classic television. Hogan's Heroes.
Green Acres.
Arnold Ziff. Who played him? Nobody. He was the pig. Remember Family Affair?
Mr. French.
I loved him.
Really?
He's attractive.
Pete, Link, Julie. Okay, Ginger or Mary Ann?
Ginger was a bimbo.
Mary Ann. Mary Ann or Jeannie?
Beechwood aged Budweiser.
Jeannie.
Crisp, clean, classic.
You can see all the NFL action every Sunday. Sit back. Let us do the work. ESPN NFL Primetime. We'll find every bone-crushing hit, search out every key play, and mix insight from our pros into television's fastest hour of football. NFL Primetime. Tonight at 7 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Harry Gant leads the Hooters 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway after 19 of 328 laps. Second place belongs to Rick Mast. There's Rick.
Oh, crash up in turn 3, 4.
It was right in front of Rusty Wallace. Brett Bodine is involved, and so is Bobby Hillen. Hillen is trying to keep the car rolling. He slid to the inside of the racetrack, has made it to the apron, but the car is stopped.
It's hurt. That right rear tire is not supposed to be jammed back at the back of the quarter panel. It's supposed to have an equidistant opening between the front and the rear.
Let's see what happened. It happened just ahead of Rusty.
Hey, he's coming up as Bobby Hillen tries to go on the inside of Brett Bodine, and they touch. And boy, Rusty really has to get on the binders, cuts it down to the inside of the racetrack, and dodges disaster there.
Wow.
Tough break for Brett Bodine and Bobby Hillen.
Yeah, for the second year in a row, a tough break for Brett Bodine, who was wiped out in the crash on the second lap last year, and now this.
Watch Rusty Wallace just goes down on the apron, and the 90 and 26 both make heavy contact with the wall.
But there were no other cars involved except the two, and Brett is walking away from the car there on the far left of your screen. He appears to be okay, but obviously very disappointed.
Now, if these cars can't be repaired and get back in the race, this is working to Dale Earnhardt's favor. The more cars that fall out of the race, it's going to put him that much closer to locking up the championship.
He needs to finish 34th or better, and 42 cars began this race. We are under caution for the first time this afternoon on lap number 21.
And if Rusty Wallace does not lead the most laps, does not win the race, then that moves Earnhardt up to about the 37th, 38th spot they'd have to finish. And already, if these two cars stay out, that's 3 cars that have fallen out. So the worst he can finish right now would be 39th.
So it's working in his favor.
Yes, it
right
is.
now.
Pit stops are going to be happening here as the field flanks off from the pace car. Just about everybody, it seems, is going to be coming in for a stop.
When you say everybody, Rick Carell is not going to come in because he's a lap down. He can't come in legally.
And Dale Jarrett is not going to come in.
He's probably going to stay out there and lead a lap. And he'll have to go probably the next time around. Yes, he will. But he's probably going to do that just to lead a lap. He was back pretty far in the field anyway.
Triple split. It's Gann on the top, Rusty in the middle, and Dale on the bottom. And we're timing each of their pit stops as the crews work on the respective cars. Already on the left side of Harry Gant and Rusty Wallace, and now they're on the left of Dale Earnhardt's car. Gann is rolling in 19.2. Rusty took a second less, and Earnhardt just slightly slower than Rusty Wallace, but good pit stops for all three.
Now we see Bill Elliott's going to come out in second. Ricky Rudd is third. Jeff Gordon fourth. Rick Mass fifth. Jimmy Spencer sixth. Morgan Shepherd seventh. Ernie Irvan eighth. And Dale Earnhardt is going to come out ninth. Rusty Wallace 10th. So that crew picked up a great deal of time on pit road, the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac crew.
And the rescue crew is at Brett Bodine's car. The rollback is there, and they're going to have to put it on the flatbed to get it away. Here's Jerry Punch with a report on Ernie Irvan.
Well, one of the reasons they were dropping back just before the caution came out is the car had gotten very, very loose. Just suddenly, the car just jumped loose. The car started the first few laps just fine, according to Ernie, but got very difficult to handle in the corners. They were hoping and praying for an early yellow, and they got their wish. They came down pit road. Larry McReynolds and the crew tightened the car up. That's what cost them an extra 4 or 5 seconds in the pit stop and put them back toward the back of the top 10, or else they might have been out in the top 5.
So Ernie Irvan makes the pit stop and rejoins the race, but we are under caution because of an accident involving Brett Bodine and Bobby Hillen in the Hooters 500. We'll be right back.
I've wanted you for so long. Let me tell you what you do for me. You've got a great shape. You're always there when I need you. You're the warmth in my winter. Day after day, you satisfy my needs, and you never let me down. I feel secure with you in my home. We'll be together for a lifetime. You have a style all your own. We both know you're the best.
Get the full Lennox story. Call Art Newsom Incorporated today.
How long do you want to live? 70 years, 80, 100? With what we know today about health screenings, routine physicals, and preventive medicine, you have considerably more control over the answer than you did even 10 years ago, which makes the real question, are you willing to take the time?
once. Try to maintain equilibrium and prove all by yourself the Big Bang Theory. Or you could watch.
Our eye in the sky today is the Bud 1 airship with camera operator George Shaftsma hovering about 1,000 feet over the racetrack. This Ambassador is powered by twin Porsche 930 engines piloted by captains Tony Stevenson and Bill Clark. And you can see there's a little bit of break in the clouds now as looks like the sun may be out soon. Well, here's a look at Lake Speed as he is under caution and sort of relaxing a little bit while the cleanup continues over the third and fourth turns. And now Dale Jarrett has come in.
And they stayed out there for two reasons, Bob. One is to lead a lap to get 5 bonus points, trying to stay in 4th place in the Winston Cup point standing. They needed to take a rubber out of the right front spring or either put one in. I'm not sure which they were doing. They knew it was going to take them a long time to do that. It was going to go to the back anyway. So pretty good strategy on Jimmy Maycar's part there to do that. They got those 5 bonus points, so could help them stay in 4th place in the points.
Yep, he's in a tight battle with Morgan Shepherd. Kyle Petty is right there also, but Dale Jarrett rolls back out into competition. There is Earnhardt, and Wallace is just behind him. They will be nose to tail when the green flag comes out to resume this event in just a few moments. 24 laps have been completed, the top 5. Harry Gant, Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Gordon, and Rick Mast.
Ford announces the news truck buyers have been waiting for. The best lease ever on Ford F-Series pickups. Now you can lease America's #1 pickup, Ford F-Series, for $229 per month for 24 months, but only for a limited time. These trucks are loaded with features including driver's side airbag, V8 engine, automatic transmission, air conditioning, and the XLT package. Get the best of terms on the best-selling trucks in America. Drive home this loaded F-Series XLT for $229 per month. See your Ford dealer now.
Robert, we're ready.
Okay. Got it warmed up?
Yeah.
Before a Robert Yates engine makes it to the track, it's torture tested right here.
Well, let's do it.
And there's only one motor oil Yates relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3. The same Haviland Formula 3 you can buy right off the shelf.
215 degrees, 8,700.
That's race ready.
Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Running like a winner. That'll get the job done.
Hey, I like to save money as much as the next guy. But what are the odds that there's going to be a sale on the parts you need when your car breaks down? Hey, it's not going to happen. That's why I go to AutoZone. I mean, sure, you could wait around for a couple weeks and maybe beat their price by a few pennies someplace else. But I don't want to wait for a sale when I need a part. Now, what more could you ask for?
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Hooters 500, ESPN Speed World live coverage of the final Winston Cup race of '93, and the green flag comes out to resume competition. And at the front, as he has been just about all race long, Harry Gant. And Earnhardt and Wallace are nose to tail for the resumption of activity.
But this time, instead of 19th and 20th, they're 9th and 10th. They were 19th and 20th at the beginning of the race.
Brett Bodine was one of the 2 cars involved in that incident, and John Kernan is with him.
Well, thankfully, Brett, you look to be okay. I know a lot of concern about that wrist. You just got the contraption, as Vinny liked to call it, off last week or so. How are you?
I'm okay. Just real confused on what happened over there. My car had been pushing real bad. That's why I was driving back through the field, and the car just wouldn't turn in the middle of the corner. And I saw Bobby and Rusty running side by side, so I just backed off a little early to let him get in there. And next thing I knew, I was turning around backwards. Cars are really unstable with these new spoiler rules, and I just don't think it's the right way to go.
We have a crash
here. We'll be back next year.
Jeff Bodine. Now Jeff Bodine is involved in a crash along with Schrader and Spencer.
And back farther in the pack, Jimmy Horton has spun down to the inside.
Boy, it has been a tough weekend for the Bodines. Jeff crashed yesterday. Now he's involved in a crash today. Todd was injured yesterday. Brett has crashed today. And boy, oh boy, it looks like that Jeff is going to unstrap himself and get out of the car under his own power.
He's disconnecting his radio right now.
Schrader is going to drive away, and so will Spencer, and Jimmy Horton is also moving. So it appears as if the only car that will suffer perhaps terminal damage is Jeff Bodine. Here is the replay.
Rusty Wallace is under the 12 car of Jimmy Spencer, and Jimmy gets just a little bit high, gets the car out of shape, loses control, comes around right in front of these guys. There's nothing that, look at poor Jeff Bodine, there's nothing he can do. Michael Walter was blessed to get through that hole before he closed. Now as he come back across, Trickle does a great job, just kind of slow, and wait until the hole opened up to go through it, as does Jimmy Hensley and all the other guys.
Jeff Bodine has got to be reconsidering his decision to be a car owner. This is the 4th crash in the last 7 races he has had as owner of this team.
And again, he was doing nothing wrong today, just riding along.
Wasn't his fault. Now watch Spencer slide up the racetrack and hit the wall.
This is from our speed shot right at the start-finish line.
There were a lot of drivers that were very heads up there getting their cars slowed down.
There's
so
Jeff.
They could get them under control.
Jeff's walking away. He'll make the mandatory visit to the infield care center just to check him over, but he appears to be in fine shape.
Well, another tough break for him, another good break for Dale Earnhardt as these cars go to the garage.
And now from the in-car camera, watch and listen.
I think he could do.
A living nightmare. At least for me it is. I can't imagine being involved in one of those crashes.
Similar situation to Davey Allison last year. Just nowhere to go. Nothing he could do about it. He was just a victim of circumstances.
And pinned again the outside wall, just about where Davey was pinned last year by Ernie Irvan. Boy, the Bodines again with a tough weekend. The most injured of the 3, Todd Bodine, and Dr. Punch has an update. Doc?
Well, we all saw Todd yesterday hit the wall a ton up in turns 3 and 4. Now, he was taken to Georgia Baptist Hospital in downtown Atlanta where he spent the night. His injuries, he has a fracture involving the outside of his hand, what they call the 5th metacarpal, the bone leading up to his little finger and the outside of his hand. We thought he may have a broken shoulder. That x-ray was negative. His shoulder is okay. Severe bruises there. They did a computerized scan of his chest and his head. He does have a mild concussion and was admitted there last night. Now, we are told by the crew in somewhat jokingly fashion that he was going to be here today. They said, Todd told us if he has to find a nurse's uniform and sneak out of the hospital, he's coming to the racetrack. He was feeling that good this morning, so that certainly is good news for the youngest of the Bodine brothers.
Yeah, but again, a tough weekend for all 3 of the racing Bodine brothers. And so the family Channel Ford is badly damaged, at least in the front end, and apparently will be unable to continue. Yesterday, however, the family channel unveiled its new colors for 1994. Jack Roush there on the left, along with the new driver, Ted Musgrave, and this is what his car will look like.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad at all.
Very pretty. Number 16. And folks, we will update you throughout the day on what's going to happen to, or what we think is going to happen to most of the cars here today.
John Kernan is with Kenny Schrader, who was also involved in that incident.
Well, Kenny, it's been a tough weekend for you guys on the first lap of qualifying on Friday, and now this car is torn up pretty good. What happened?
Rusty had just passed Spencer, and I was like on his left rear, and Jimmy just got loose. I mean, you know, the car just started coming around for him. It took a long slide. Most times they'll slide up and go across, you know, but he just kept that same glide pattern, and we got into him, and then they started piling up behind us, you know.
There's just nothing that anybody can do when it happens at that point.
Jimmy just got loose, and you're long, you know. You turn right and try to save it, but you're not going to get it gathered back up.
What about your professional opinion here? You guys going to be able to get this car back out? It looks beat up pretty good.
Well, I imagine we're going to get back out here, but we'll kind of evaluate what we're at. We can't gain anything in points, and this one spot we can lose. This already hurt us, so we'll just have to see.
Well, an early end to Kenny Schrader, and obviously you can hear it in his voice, just very disappointed here, Bob. It's been a tough weekend for these guys.
Sure has. Ken Schrader was 8th in the point standings going into this final race of the year. We are at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and this is how it looked from the perspective of Jimmy Hensley.
Every year, millions of gallons of motor oil are poured down drains, dumped on the ground, and tossed into landfills. It's a crying shame for the environment and for everybody in it. That's why Advance Auto Parts provides free oil recycling at every store 7 days a week. Bring your used motor oil to Advance and make the future a cleaner, safer, happier place for all of us.
My life goes like this. Loose ball in the end zone. Fall on it, no chance. My feet are light, and I've got the moves. At the 50, I see Myers. Not now, Chris. I'm a busy man. And as I cross the goal line, I laugh, knowing my agent has just cut a deal for my very own fitness video. Yeah, that's my Sports Center highlight.
ESPN Speed World is very happy to present a tremendous weekend of racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Triple Championship Weekend. ARCA, Busch Grand National, and today, the NASCAR Winston Cup title will be decided. John Kernan is with Jeff Bodine.
Well, Jeff, it would be an understatement to say that this weekend has been particularly tough on the Bodine family. You look to be okay, though, are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Brett's okay. My mother and father back home, I know they're going crazy. Todd's okay. They're keeping him, looking at him a little bit more, but he's fine. Matt and Barry, they're back home watching. I'm fine. You know, Kathy and I, we don't know what's happening here. Things started out so good when we bought this team. We won the Sears Point race in the 15 car and really thought this was going to work out just fine. It will eventually, but boy, this has been tough here lately. We appreciate what the Family Channel's done for us since we've taken the team over. They really helped us. Wish we could have run better and won some races for them. But we're still looking for a sponsor for next year. We're not giving up. We don't have one, but we're still in business. All those rumors about we're closing the doors, we're not closing the doors, even after a weekend like this. We love this sport. We're in it for keeps. So this is racing, I guess, but boy, it's been hard here lately.
Sure has, and hopefully something will develop for them so we can see them with that car painted up with a full sponsorship at Daytona in February. Jimmy Spencer also involved. Let's go to Dr. Jerry Punch.
And he still sits in the pits here, John. The car looks a lot worse than it actually is. The sheet metal has been up quite badly on the car. They pulled some of it away. That will affect the aerodynamics of the machine. Also, the towing has been in the front of the car. And apparently, Jimmy Spencer did confirm what Kenny Schrader told us a minute ago. The car just got loose and came out from underneath him as they were coming off the turn out of turn 4. And by the way, for those of you who are superstitious, Jimmy Spencer started today with a 4-leaf clover in each pocket that had been picked for him by his kids to give him good luck. And obviously, it didn't work.
Well, while we have a break here in the action as the cleanup continues, we will tell you about tonight's football game. We hope you'll be with us at 8 o'clock tonight. ESPN's coverage of the National Football League continues as the Bears and the Chargers go at it. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern Time tonight here on ESPN. The Bears.
The Bears.
Well, they're lined up 8th and 9th for this restart. Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace.
So they know exactly where Elvin is going to be all day. Looks like these guys are going to run nose to tail all day long. But Rusty, if he's going to make a challenge, has to get to the front. I mean, right now, if he was the race were to end and he finished 9th and Earnhardt finished 8th, or Earnhardt could finish 40th, fall out of the race right now, he would be the champion in 1993.
But lots of racing to go yet.
Oh, yes.
racing, so you never know in this sport.
Only started.
Yep.
That's right. But we are about to go back to racing activity as the pace car pulls off and the field begins to accelerate. Here they come down for the green flag once again. Gantz still at the front of the field with Elliott, Gordon, Rudd, and Mast.
I guess Gantz led every lap but one, the one lap that Dale Jarrett led.
Yeah, I think he has. Boy, that car is strong.
Oh, here goes Rusty.
Earnhardt sliding up the racetrack and allowing Rusty Wallace to take over the position. Ted Musgrave would like to get one here, and he might at the end of the backstretch.
Goes in the corner. It looks like he's got the spot. Yes, he does.
Earnhardt's car looked like it just slipped up a little bit going into turn one the last time, and of course that allowed Rusty to go by, and Musgrave slipped right up there as well.
Lake Speed is now right behind Earnhardt. For second place, the battle is between Bill Elliott and Jeff Gordon. This is Jeff's kind of racetrack. He won some Grand National races here, and many people are thinking that perhaps this guy could win today.
He ran awfully strong here in the spring, and in fact almost won this race. It got down to a gas mileage war. Morton Shepherd won the race, but he was very, very strong. He and Rusty Wallace were the class of the field that day after Mark Martin went out.
Will more than likely earn Rookie of the Year honors. Dale Earnhardt appears to be back up to speed as he has passed Ted Musgrave.
Back to Jeff Gordon. You know, if you believe what you read, I've never asked Rick Hendrick this, but what they say in the racing papers that here in Atlanta is where Jeff Gordon was hired by Rick Hendrick. He walked down the corner and watched this kid drive a Busch car through the corners and said, I've got to have him drive for me because he has no fear whatsoever.
Right now he's driving that Winston Cup car pretty well through the corners. He's battling Elliott for second position, hasn't been able to get it yet. Meanwhile, behind them, several cars race for position, including Ernie Irvan, Ricky Rudd, and Morgan Shepherd.
Morgan won the race here in March. Right? Did you just say that?
Yep, he sure did. In fact, he has 4 victories in Winston Cup competition. 3 of them have come here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
That's right. Wow. Yep, he's won the spring race on 2 different occasions and won this race in 1990.
You know, we were talking about all the things that are yet to be settled. Winter Circle Plan is certainly something. As we see Earnhardt go by Rick Mast, Winter Circle Plan is something a lot of them wants to get on as well. And there are a lot of drivers with just 1 victory. The higher in the points they are, the better chance they have of being on the Winter Circle next year. And Morgan Shepherd is one of those drivers.
And the field summary showing you where your favorite driver is. And these are very important today because each time we show you a car out of the race, it means that Earnhardt is a step closer to the title. And Jeff Gordon is about to take second, in fact, does take second place away from Bill Elliott.
The Chevrolet is strong. And Earnhardt mentioned that Manufacturers Championship as well. Whichever finishes in front of each other, Ford or Chevrolet, will win the Manufacturers Championship this year.
There you see Schrader, Jeff Bodine, Bobby Hillen, plus 2 others. Brett Bodine and Neil Bonnet are not out of the race. Bonnet is shown as out of the race, but they are at least behind the wall and could be out of the race for the rest of the event.
Ernie Irvan and Jerry Punch reporting from the pits. His car got loose, made an adjustment. Let's see if it will stick this time. We look at Morgan Shepherd from inside his 604, looking directly in front at the race between as he goes by Ricky Rudd, the Tide Chevrolet.
And here comes Rusty. He passes Rudd with ease. And Earnhardt, it appears, will also. Irvan alongside of Bill Elliott in the battle for 3rd spot. They go through the corners side by side.
Elliott's coming back on the outside. And Rusty Wallace has caught this group, and Earnhardt as well. Morgan 3 abreast.
Hey, hey, hey. Morgan is going to try to pass both of them. He's got Ernie.
3 Fords battling here.
Ernie says, which one do I follow? Well, let's see. Well, any minute now.
And Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt are probably saying, I would really not like to be in this mess because there could be something happen up there in front of them.
Now, is Rusty going to make it 3 abreast? No, Morgan Shepherd moved down so that wouldn't happen. Morgan goes in the corner, carries Bill well racetrack to take that spot away.
Way up high.
That's going to cost Elliott 4 or 5 spots.
Now, if that kind of racing had been going on back in the pack with some lesser experienced drivers, you would almost think there was going to be a wreck. And maybe it could have been, but these drivers are all very, very experienced.
So now it's Gant, Gordon, Shepard, Wallace, Irvan, and Dale Earnhardt battle side by side with Bill Elliott.
And while this is going on, Jeff Gordon is catching Harry Gant.
Yes, he is. We will show you that, but this probably has more overall importance, at least to the championship. Dale still having a tough time getting around Bill. Now here is the difference, the interval between first and second. There is Harry Gant, the leader of the race. And not too far behind him, there's Jeff.
And look how low that Jeff Gordon is running his car through the corner. Looks like it is handling like a dream.
And here comes the rest of them. Shepard, Wallace, and others.
And that spot is still being contested by Elliott and Earnhardt.
Now coming up to join in the battle are Rick Mast and Ted Musgrave. So it's a 5-car race there for position. We'll keep an eye on how things go. Right now it is Harry Gant, the pole sitter of this race, eligible for $38,000 in Unocal bonus money, leading the Hooters 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Back in a moment.
When Darrell Waltrip needs his car serviced, he needs the best, and he needs it fast.
And so do you. These days, it's hard to know who to trust. The service team at Western Auto does the job right. Right, Junior?
Right, DW, and at the right price.
From batteries to brakes to shocks, tires, and alignment, you can trust Western Auto to give you the best service at unbeatable low prices every day. The best service at the right price from someone you can trust. At Western Auto, we guarantee it.
Right, DW.
If it were just to win more trophies, we wouldn't be here. But there's a side to Ford racing you won't find in the sports page. It's learning how to make your car safer by racing 200 miles an hour in heavy traffic. And learning how a granite roller coaster can make your truck even tougher. Because when it comes to developing technology for your Ford, there shouldn't be any limits. That's why we race. Of course, we're not about to give back all our trophies. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Robert, all we need here is some oil and we'll be ready to crank. Okay. Jeff, get us 2 cases. I have one.
Yes, sir, right away. Robert, we're out.
Get us 2 cases and fly.
There's only one motor oil that Robert Yates Racing relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3 from Texaco. The same Haviland Formula 3 you can use in your car.
That was quick.
Yeah, they headed right down the street.
Hey, we got 15 minutes to walk.
Next Prime Monday, possible title preview in the AFC, Steelers and Bills. You'll hear a wireless mic on Steeler coach Bill Cowher. Also a look at Rod Woodson and Bruce Smith.
It's just about 1:30 Eastern Time, and if you are just joining us, welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway and live coverage of the Hooters 500, the last race of the 1993 NASCAR Winston Cup season. The championship battle today is between Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace. We are riding with Morgan Shepard. At the moment, Harry Gant is the leader of this race, with Jeff Gordon running in second position.
Rusty Wallace has just moved his Pontiac into third. Ernie Irvan is fourth, and the car we're riding in is the 5th place car, the Citgo Ford of Morgan Shepard.
And they might, we said a moment ago that before we went to break that Jeff Gordon was gaining on Harry Gant. Now Gant has pulled away from him a little bit, but Rusty Wallace is gaining on Jeff Gordon and probably Harry Gant as well. So he's heading towards the front. He wants to get up there and lead if he possibly can.
Dale Earnhardt is currently running 6th, and he needs to finish 34th or better to clinch the championship. Only Rusty can also win it. There is Jeff Gordon, second place, and you're right, Ned. The interval between second and third is shrinking. There is the interval leaderboard. Gordon is less than a second behind Gant.
But he had moved up within about 10 car lengths of him, but that is...
Right now, that graphic is not correct because Rusty is in third place and Morgan is back in 5th. The See Rick Corelli going on low on the apron of the racetrack. There he sees, he comes in.
There is Earnhardt in 6th. Behind him is Elliott in 7th, and then Ricky Rudd.
I met Rick Corelli. He plans to run the Winston Cup circuit next year with David Diff as a crew chief.
Young man from Denver, Colorado.
Total Petroleum will be the sponsor on it.
Rick also crashed during qualifying yesterday. He turned in a lap that put him into 25th starting position and then crashed.
On his next lap?
Yeah, but he's in the race.
See, Earnhardt is done by Bill Elliott. Finally.
Jeff Gordon continues to hang on to second place. You know, each year, McDonald's awards $50,000 to 3 drivers that are chosen by the fans. Who are they? Well, the 2 championship contenders, Earnhardt and Wallace, and the 3rd member of the all-star team from McDonald's is Jeff Gordon.
What a tribute to that young man to be named by the fans to that all-star team, McDonald's all-star team.
Immensely popular young driver.
He is that.
Boy, what a future he has ahead of him.
Yep.
He's got it all. A tremendous amount of talent, good looks, articulate.
And a heck of a race car driver, and he's driving a good car.
Yes, sir. Got it all.
But Rusty Wallace is just about to put him in 3rd position, or at least Rusty will try to. He drives under Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff's car has gone away a little bit on him now since we talked about him earlier, because Harry Gann has pulled away to a pretty good lead on him now. So Rusty takes over 2nd.
Wallace is in 2nd position. Jeff Gordon, who again is in his backup car because of the crash on Friday, now to 3rd, and Ernie Irvan is right there.
Morgan Shepherd hanging right in there, right behind Irvan. He is in 5th position. Irvan looks like he's ready to move up and challenge Gordon for that 3rd position.
Ernie Irvan has scored the most points in the last 5 races. 865, so he's having a great end of the year, building up momentum for a full-out assault on the 94 NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. We ride with Morgan Shepherd.
As we watch Ernie Irvan come up, take the spot away from Jeff Gordon, slides right back in front of him.
I didn't know if he was all the way past him, but he knew he was because his spotter had told him was. But that camera angle, it was hard to tell.
Now it's Irvan, Gordon, and Shepherd. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Morgan just out for a Sunday drive. But look at how long they're in the corners. And Benny's been talking about this all weekend. But look, he's still turning the wheel.
Still going through the corner, still applying G-forces to the body, having to hold his head up. Finally, he's able to relax. Up, back in the corner again.
Boy, that old neck gets tired towards the end of the race.
You can watch just how little he spends on the straightaway at this racetrack. Harry Gann, I tell you what, they're not gaining too much on Harry.
No, they aren't. He is really, really running good.
Again, we're watching 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
There's Harry.
There is Harry Gann, the leader. Rusty Wallace is in 2nd position at the moment. 60 laps out of 328 are completed here this afternoon. We're delighted you could be with us for this finale of the Winston Cup season for 93.
I was tired, listless. My hair looked bad. My dog moved away. My life was as bland as your average chicken sandwich. Then I tried McDonald's new McGrilled chicken. Now this was different.
A marinated chicken breast with Monterey Jack, sweet red onions, tangy herb dressing on a bakery roll. Well, things changed. My hair looks great. My dog came home, and we struck oil in the backyard.
Coincidence? We don't think so. Try the new McGrilled chicken sandwich. Further proof that what you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's all plain to see. If it's gonna get done, it's up to you and me. Come on and head for down and head for the mountains of beer.
Ray Bestis has the right brake for you, no matter what car you drive. Ray Bestis, the best in brakes. For the nearest Ray Bestis parts store or installer, call 1-800-4-RAY-BESTIS.
Ford announces the news truck buyers have been waiting for. The best lease ever on Ford F-Series pickups. Now you can lease America's #1 pickup, Ford F-Series, for $229 per month for 24 months, but only for a limited time. These trucks are loaded with features including driver's side airbag, V8 engine, automatic transmission, air conditioning, and the XLT package. Get the best of terms on the best-selling trucks in America. Drive home this loaded F-Series XLT for $229 per month. See your Ford dealer now.
After 64 laps, here are the top 15. Gant the leader, then Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvan, Jeff Gordon, and Morgan Shepherd. 6 through 10, Earnhardt, Rudd, Elliott, Mast, Musgrave. Dick Trickle is 11th, and Lake Speed, Darrell Waltrip, Kyle Petty, who has moved up from 41st starting position, and Mark Martin, who has moved up from 33rd. So the championship contenders right now are 2nd and 7th. Wallace is 2nd, and Earnhardt is 7th. There's the leader, Harry Gant. There's Rusty.
Tell you what, he's not gaining that much on Harry Gant. Theo Jackson, those guys, Charlie Presley, looks like they got a great race car today. Right, Jared Punch, what do you think? They look like they got a great race car.
You're exactly right, Benny. And maybe you and Ned can comment on this possibly. And Bob, you know, Harry told me this morning, I guess when you get over 50 years of age, you get a little sentimental. He said that that's why he asked Leo Jackson and Charlie and the guys to bring this race car, because this is the oldest race car they've got. It's Alf, the car they built way back in 1988. And the good thing about Alf is that this car has won at least one race each year. This is Harry's last chance to go to victory lane in 1993.
How about that? He does not have a victory. I was going to say it certainly holds to the same thing in Benny's case. Sometimes old is good.
There comes Rusty.
That was Wally Dallenbach Jr., who was between the two. And here comes Rusty off the 4th corner.
And there comes Ernie.
By the way, since we just saw Wally Dallenbach Jr. there, I'm going to give away the answer to the question, but in looking over statistics, do you know the driver who accumulated the most points on the road courses in '93? Yes.
Wally Dallenbach.
Very good, Benny.
That's pretty good. Yeah. And he's moving on next year to drive the 44 car, the SDP Pontiac of Richard Petty.
Here's our interval leaderboard. Wallace almost 3 seconds behind. Ernie is about 0.8 of a second behind Rusty. Jeff Gordon is 4th, 5 seconds behind, and he is closely pursued by Morgan Shepherd.
Now, again, when he lapped Dave Marcus and Jimmy Spencer, that leaves 25 cars in the lead lap. Spencer is running 26th. So he's just motoring right on around here and putting some good cars a lap down. So Spencer was involved in that wreck.
Shepherd driving to the outside of Kenny Wallace in car number 40, and there's Ken Schrader.
Yeah, he's been back out for a little bit, Bob. I think he's about 31 laps behind when he came back out, but you heard him say that he was going to try to get back out there and run and protect the position that he is in the points.
Right now, there are 4 cars out of the race. Jimmy Horton, Brett Bodine, Bobby Hillin, and Neil Bonnet. So keep that in mind as we continue to settle the championship here. Dale can finish 34th or better. He wins the title. 42 cars started.
And right now, the worst he could finish would be 38th, unless some of those cars that are out of the race should come back in.
Here's a Napa field summary.
I would think that Dale Earnhardt has to be pretty comfortable right now. The field is fairly spread out. He's racing with good race cars, good, solid race car drivers who are not going to take a lot of chances. Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd, been around a long time. I would think he has to be very comfortable riding where he's riding right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Benny. He's sort of by himself on the racetrack there. not taking any chances there. You see Spencer has gone a lap down now, and so there's 25 cars in the lead lap.
And as we watch that, Harry Gant just passed Sterling Marlin in the Investors Ford, another guy who crashed in practice on Friday, had to go to a backup car to Sterling Marlin.
So now they're 24 on the lead lap.
There's that much racetrack between Earnhardt and the leader, Harry Gant. So Harry has things in hand right now, but only 3 times has the winner come from the pole position. The most recent time was Rusty Wallace in 1988.
I lost my shoes, I broke my arm, and my socks didn't match. I was as sorry as your average chicken sandwich. And then I tried McDonald's new McGrill Chicken Extra Value Meal. A marinated chicken breast with Monterey Jack, sweet red onions, and tangy herb dressing on a bakery roll, plus fries and a Coke. Well, my arm got better, my socks both matched, and I just found a Rembrandt in my garage.
Coincidence? We don't think so. Try the new McGrill Chicken Sandwich Extra Value Meal. Further proof that what you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom Battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time. Now through December 4th, get started with up to $14 cash back on Delco Freedom batteries.
With each new day, you find a way to be your best.
Gillette Sensor for the closest, safest shave ever.
You know you gotta be a little better than the rest.
Only Sensor has spring-mounted twin blades that adjust to every detail of every face. Gillette Sensor, together with Gillette Shaving Gel, with advanced lubricants for an incredibly smooth shave.
Gillette, the best the man can get.
Hooters 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway and ESPN Speed World coverage finds Harry Gant in the lead, and he has led all but 2 laps today at an average speed of 129.814, slowed by a couple of caution laps, but he is running at about 157.
Harry Gant just missed that last corner, folks. As you saw him go through that corner, he missed it. And these guys behind him are gaining on him right now. I don't know what kind of problem that he might have, maybe, but he went down in turns 1 and 2 and just went way high. And watch as Bobby Hamilton closes him right on the back bumper. And Rusty now is just about a couple of seconds behind.
Yeah, he's closing in a hurry right now.
Harry has some type of problem.
Now, they've been out there a while on these tires, Benny, and it's possible, as hard as he has been running, that the tires are just going away. Here's what Benny's talking about.
Watch as he goes in the corner. He goes down. Now that, and yeah, and see as he gets in the corner, it just goes high, and these guys are just... Jerry Punch, what's the problem with Harry Gant?
Many of you guys are exactly right. Harry thinks he has a right rear tire possibly going down. Charlie Presley said Harry just said right rear, right rear. They are watching him. They are only about 4 or 5 laps away from their early pit window. They would ordinarily pit on lap 82 to 87. They're going to try to watch, but they're going to let Harry make the call. So we'll watch the leader as if he decides to come down pit road for 4 fresh tires.
And Rusty Wallace sees this opportunity to get up there and lead at least a lap. He wants to lead the most laps, but he needs to get up and lead a lap to get 5 bonus points. He's driving his heart out trying to get up there to do that.
And he is catching him. He passes Bobby Hamilton and cuts that interval.
See, Harry's running in the groove right now where the car should be running. And look, there's Rusty Wallace just about a second behind Harry now.
Gant has not won here at Atlanta in 29 career starts. He has finished second, however, on 3 different occasions.
And Rusty, you're right. Ned, I just wish that everybody watching today and listening today could put their self in Rusty Wallace and just feel the emotion he's going through today as he drives as hard as he possibly can every inch around this racetrack to lead every lap.
Well, Ernie Irvan is catching Rusty Wallace. That interval is shrinking. Now Wallace really comes up on Gant in the 4th corner. He may bid for the lead. At the line, it's still Cant leading this lap. Into turn 1, Rusty has it.
But he has to get back to the start-finish line before he can be credited with leading a lap. And that'll be 5 bonus points. That was the first thing that he had to accomplish today, was lead a lap. And now he, technically it was only 121 points behind Dale Earnhardt because Earnhardt has not led a lap. And then the next thing he needed to do was to lead all the laps.
And we see pit stops happening. Here is John Kernan in Mark Martin's pit as Rusty does lead a lap.
The crew goes to work on Martin's Ford. It will be a 4-tire change. The car started out with a severe push in it. They went the wrong way on the first pit stop. So now they will have to tighten it up with a couple of rounds of wedge in that right rear. Left side tires going on. Now their crew members were missing at the start of the race. They are now here in a pretty good pit stop. 19.9 seconds. As Mark Martin leaves the pits, Harry Gant is on his way in. Let's go down to Jerry Punch.
53-year-old Harry Gant trying to pick up his first win in 1993. His pit window was lap 82. It is lap 81, now 82 as he comes down pit road at 55 miles per hour. The early leader here at Atlanta. Gant will get 4 fresh tires. Remember, he had regularly thought he had a right rear tire going down. He is spinning almost all the way down toward turn 1. Now the veteran campaigner from Taylorville, North Carolina takes on right side tires and left side. He will get the car completely full of fuel. Harry sits very stoically in the car. One leg on the brake pedal, the other one keeping the throttle, revving to the car with not long.
And here's the crash.
Ernie Irvan has crashed here on the straightaway. Irvan stops near the exit of pit road. Harry had an 18.9-second pit stop, but is it going to hurt him?
Yes, it's going to give him a lap down to Rusty Wallace. And here, watch as Ernie comes off the corner. I wonder if there was some contact between it. No, he just loses control as he comes off the corner right in front of Mark Martin. He goes down, almost saves the car, Ned.
Yes, he did. Almost saved it, but then it just went around again the back end, gets down next to the inside retaining wall, and Mark Martin had just made that pit stop. He was coming up to get himself back in the lead lap, and there's Gant going out of the pits. The leader had already gone by, so he's going to be a lap down.
Here's another angle. We're focused in on Rusty. Behind him, Ernie in trouble.
Maybe Mark Martin coming up that quickly behind him might have taken a little air off the spoiler as he came off of that turn. Caused it to get, it was probably already loose with the worn tires he had on, but it probably made him looser yet.
Well, it happened in just about the same area of the racetrack that he crashed in last year in a different car. The caution is out on lap number 85. It's our third caution of the day, and he's trying to drive the car back to the pit area, but you can see the sparks coming from underneath.
Yeah, he's dragging a lot of stuff off that car and trying to get it back. Rusty Wallace did this at Phoenix and ground the sway bar arm off the car and ended up blowing a tire. And look at all that stuff dragging as he tries to get it back to the garage.
Yeah, it's wearing out a lot of metal, and here comes the leaders down pit road.
Ricky Rudd, Morgan Shepherd, Dale Earnhardt is coming in. So is Rick Mast and others, including Elliott, Trickle, Musgrave. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Okay, we're going to show you 3 pit stops, 2, 3, and 21. We've got Pontiac, Chevrolet, and Ford, Wallace, Earnhardt, and of course the car number 21. That is Morgan Shepherd. Right side tires going on the car number 2. Right side tires on all 3 of the cars. The left side now on the car number 2. And likewise, let's go back upstairs to Benny Parsons.
Trouble on the right rear of Earnhardt's car. They motion for another air race, so finally they get another wrench over there. They're now changing the right rear tires. Those other 2 cars are leading. Will Lynn had a problem with a socket or something on the right rear.
And they're still working on the car. They're on the left side, but this is a very long pit stop compared to the others. Rusty had a 20.3 second stop and Morgan 23.2. It was a 34.1 for Earnhardt.
There was some trouble in Darrell Waltrip's pits. I don't know, one of the crewmen, I don't know if he was hanging onto the gas can or what, but as he went down pit road, he was about 3 or 4 pits down from where Darrell pitted, and he rolled out, but he's walking back to the pit, so apparently he's okay.
And Ernie Irvan is in the pits, and they're trying to get that car back in order so that it can continue to race. And a lot of damage on the right rear of the Haviland Ford.
It looked like Billy Hodges, Ned, on the 17 car. Got hung on the car or something. They drug him down pit road.
Yeah, it did. They drug him about 6 pits. down through there, but he got up, brushed his pants off, and went on back to his pits, ready to go to work again.
Ernie Irvan is away, and here's John.
Well, with Billy Hodges, and Billy's trying to catch his breath right now. I guess, Billy, is it okay if we... Okay, look at that. They're thinking about the race cars. Okay to talk to you right now, Billy? You all right?
Yeah, just trying to take a little bite out of the car. I got the ratchet in there, got it hung and couldn't get it out. Tried to hold on to it till the last minute, get it out, but I couldn't. We had to come back in.
And they talk about football players being tough. These guys, they don't even have the equipment. Look down here on his pants. Tore his pants up. Guess he's okay, though. Billy looks all right.
Yeah, I just happened to look down and saw him rolling down pit road. I said, man, that has to hurt.
Watch the top of the screen here, and you will be able to see it possibly way, way up at the top.
Let's see.
Yes, at the very top. Here's Morgan Shepherd coming out.
Yeah.
Here comes Darrell out now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy's hanging on the back.
He's hanging on the car. Finally falls. Oh, my gosh.
I mean, he took a tumble. Look at that. On that
He's
hard
still
pavement.
bouncing.
Oh, man. Thank goodness he is okay.
Here's Jerry again.
A minute ago, you saw problems with Dale Earnhardt's car. Now, it was a very simple problem, but it cost him some time. Fortunately, it was under the caution flag. This is the air impact wrench they used for the right rear tire that Will Lynn was trying to use. Apparently, a lug nut got hung up inside, and he shook it, couldn't get the lug nut out, so rather than try to pry it out, absolutely decided to go ahead and change to a different air gun. The pit stops are complete. We are under caution here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Today's running and a possible championship to be settled after this.
Who's getting happy? Who's having fun? Who's been to Hooters? Come on, everyone, it's at Hooters. Hooters. Hooters makes you happy. Hooters makes you happy. Hooters makes you happy. Hooters makes you happy. Good times, great food, fun music, what a hoot. Hooters. Hooters. Everybody's getting happy at Hooters.
Coverage first. Don't wait. Get Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for this ESPN Race Weekend special. Get Auto Week at the lowest price ever, $17.95 for 52 issues. But don't wait. This offer expires midnight on Monday. Get Auto Week at the lowest price ever. Call 1-800-828-4100.
The Pac-10 is my conference, and I love watching Pac-10 football on ABC. But my husband went to school in the South, and I know how much he misses those classic SEC battles that he used to see down there. I wish I could give him a choice.
Some of the great games you can see on November 20th include national title contender Miami at West Virginia, plus UCLA at USC. For more information, call your local cable company today.
Just about to go back to racing, green flag competition. There's the pit summary showing you that Rusty has the lead, or rather came out second. Rudd came out in the lead. Shepherd fifth. Earnhardt there. Look at that. He lost 7 track positions because of that problem that he had on pit road with the air wrench.
And here's Harry again. He was at the tail end of the lead lap, and Mark Martin also was a lap down. He's trying to get back in the lead lap, but Harry again has gone a lap down.
And Rusty is charging. Look at him.
Here he comes, trying to take over the lead. Ricky Rudd goes high. Here comes Rusty on the inside.
Battle for the lead between Rudd and Wallace. Mark Martin back on the lead lap, and Rusty Wallace back in the lead.
Martin's car has not been up to what I personally expected it to be today. He started back in 33rd position. I thought he would move up through the pack. He was running about the middle of the pack before he made that pit stop, got a lap down.
Here comes Rusty trying to put Martin a lap down again.
It seems after those new tires go away.
He does. Look at the racing back here behind Rusty.
Big trickle in the Manhunt car on the outside, the 41. Sterling Bar on the inside, the blue and white 8, and Jeff Gordon behind those guys, trying his best to get through that traffic. And Gordon is followed by Ted Musgrave, and there's Earnhardt right behind that group of cars.
Right now, Dale is being shown in 11th position. Rusty is the leader.
Ted Musgrave still in the middle of that, still having a good run here today.
That's from Bud 1, the Bud 1 airship, hovering high above Atlanta Motor Speedway, bringing you the aerial shots. These guys have done yeoman duty the last 3 days. They've been with us for the ARCA race, the Grand National, and now the Winston Cup finale.
See, Dale Jarrett went sort of gingerly in there behind Sterling Marlin the lap before when Earnhardt got around and Jarrett got sideways up turns 3 and 4. I thought maybe there was some oil there. I don't know what happened, but anyway, he's tiptoeing through that corner now. Don't blame him.
The season isn't going to end the way it started for Dale Jarrett with that outstanding victory at the Daytona 500, but Dale has had an excellent season. Here's the field summary. There is Kyle Petty. He is trying to move up in the points, came into this event 6th, but only 5 behind Morgan Shepherd in 5th. And Morgan is having a good run, so Kyle still has to improve himself to move up into that 5th position in the points.
Morgan being shown in 5th position right now.
But Kyle has driven from 41st starting position, and Earnhardt takes a spot away from Ted Musgrave.
He lets him get sort of singled out and then takes off. Earnhardt. He was ahead of many of these cars that he's passed here in the last few laps before the miscue in the pits.
We documented earlier the weekend of the Bodine brothers. Jeff has crashed out of this race. Brett has crashed out of this race. Todd has been released from the hospital. Here is a good battle between Bill Elliott and Dick Trickle as Jeff Gordon looks on.
Good run for Dick Trickle this afternoon as he tries to pass Bill Elliott.
This is for 5th position.
Trickle has just a little bit of advantage now, and here comes Jeff Gordon, will make it 3 abreast.
Jeff is to the inside of Trickle as they head for turn number 1.
Dick Trickle said, "Jeff, for that, Jeff, I'm not going to back off and let you go."
Earnhardt comes up on Jeff Gordon, but Jeff pulls alongside of Trickle and challenges him into turn 3 once again.
You'll have to be careful down there because there's not a lot of air cushion on the outside there, down on that inside. It can get out from under you very quickly if you aren't careful, but he was very careful going through the turn.
We have seen that on numerous occasions in the last 2 days.
So Trickle moves in front of Jeff Gordon. Now Earnhardt's going to try him on the outside. In the meantime, as he goes up the racetrack, Ted Musgrave trying to take that spot away from Earnhardt. And Dale Jarrett back watching, trying to figure out which one to follow.
He saw Earnhardt make his move around the 55 car of Ted Musgrave a little bit ago and figured, well, he's going to prevail, but then Ted got back up on the inside. Ooh, they got close, but Earnhardt maintains the position.
Here's Morgan Shepherd and Rick Mast, and that is for 3rd. Morgan takes 3rd. So now it's Rusty Wallace, Ricky Rudd, Shepherd, Mast, and Elliott.
Look at Rusty put some distance on these guys.
He has one previous win here in Atlanta in 22 starts. He won this event back in 1988.
I tell you what, Ned, this year Buddy Parrott and that crew has been masters at getting that car, at adjusting that car during the race to make it better, because Rusty qualified 19th. Didn't look like he had a lot going for him to begin with, and right now he's flying. Oh, Mark Martin off the pace.
He is definitely off the pace in the Valvoline Ford. Now he seems to have picked back up.
And it's not a typical day for Mark, at least in the second half of the season, because he has been so strong with 12 finishes of 6th or better in the last 16 races. He does have 3rd in the points locked up, but he is currently 2 laps down.
Oh, Rudd has got some serious problems in that Tide Chevrolet right now as he goes high up in the corner. Lets Rick Mast go by. Mark Martin goes by. So Rudd, his car seems to be going away right now.
What's the telemetry here on Mark's car? 186, it appeared, was the fastest speed achieved. Stabilizing at 158 and now headed back the other way. Here is Dick Trickle and Bill Elliott vying for position.
Once again.
Didn't we see this happen just a moment ago?
Well, it wasn't long ago that we saw them battling side by side. Jeff Gordon came up tried to interfere there, but now Gordon's dropped back a little bit. Trickle got him a run again. I believe he's going to get him this time.
There we go. He does. Takes that fifth spot away. Rumors around the garage area that Joe Nemechek is in line to drive that 41 car next year. That's what I hear.
Yeah, I've heard that also.
No one will confirm that, but
don't you love this time of year when several drivers and car combinations have been established for next year, but there is just a whole lot of rumors and conversation going on down in the garage area.
Meanwhile, Pit Trickle doing a great job.
And Rusty Wallace is leading. He has led 16 of the 100 laps that we have run so far. Average speed of the race, 129.835. We'll be back in just a moment.
Need a more powerful battery? ProStart Plus, just $49.99 after rebate. Come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
For this guy, any deodorant will do. But these guys need Speed Stick, antiperspirant that gives 110%. And now Speed Stick deodorant has a powerful new formula to fight odor. Speed Stick, for movers and shakers, the #1, the only one.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Red balls of fire. You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, what a thrill. Doesn't it raise your red balls of fire?
Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug.
Flyers, the Penguins, the Red Hot Flyers face off against the Penguins Tuesday live on ESPN National Hockey Night.
A big puff of smoke from Rick Mast's car indicates trouble. He got up and scraped the wall up in turn 3, didn't he, Benny?
Well, he got real close. If he didn't hit it, it was a miracle. No, he didn't hit it.
But he got real close. He sure did. Here's a replay. Maybe we can see how close he did come.
There he is right in front of Ricky Rudd. He blows just as he goes in turn 3 and wisely goes up against the wall, and then he does a great job not to hit it.
He really does. He was running in third place. Another tough break for Rick Mast, who has had some awfully good runs this year, but when he does have those good runs, something goes wrong.
Our fourth caution comes out on lap 106. Rick Mast with a mechanical problem that will necessitate the track crew coming out and checking for oil or other debris on the racetrack.
And neither Harry Gant or Mark Martin was able to get their lap back from Rusty Wallace, the leader, as we are inside with late speed.
That car is sporting its new colors, and let's go down to Jerry Punch.
And we should expect normal pit stops here for the Middle Genuine Draft team, the Pontiac team. Possibly the last time you may see a Pontiac in this pit, as they may change for 1994. Rusty Wallace bringing the car down. Still hoping that somehow, some way, he can pull off a Winston Cup title in 1993. Windshield being clean. They will change all 4 tires. 2, 3, 21. Once again, 3 different pit stops going on for you at home. We're showing you Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt, and the car number 21, the Ford crew, the Woodruns working on Morgan Shepherd.
And the 3 car, what is it? They're having trouble again. Having trouble once again on the left rear. Well, 18 seconds is not a problem. I guess he was just slow getting in.
18 seconds for Wallace, 18.6 for Earnhardt, and 19.6 for Morgan Shepherd.
Bill Elliott had a relatively slow pit stop too. For the Budweiser Ford, he lost some positions on that around the stops.
And they'll see the hood up on the 28 car as Larry McReynolds, that crew goes to work on the Haviland Ford, trying to get it back in shape so Ernie can contest the win this afternoon.
Well, he'll be contesting staying in points where he is,
Yeah, he's 7th in points coming in, and not too far behind Kyle Petty and not too far ahead of Ken Schrader, who is 8th. We'll take another break. We're under caution here at Atlanta.
Every day we all find a way. A promise made, a promise kept, giving it our best.
Napa, we're the most complete source for auto parts. And all Napa parts are backed by a nationwide warranty program. No wonder more Americans trust Napa to keep their vehicles running.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
Sure, you've got a car. Got a dog. Even got some fun-loving friends. But have you got what it takes to be a mountain man? All it really takes are the 2 cool beers of the mountain man. Smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. So, be a mountain man. All you gotta do is head for the mountains.
Announcing the biggest advance in Quaker State history. It's Quaker State's new advanced high-tech formula motor oil. Superior protection against wear. Superior protection against heat and stress. Superior cleaning power. New advanced Quaker State motor oil. It's formulated for today's high-tech engines. And now announcing the biggest rebate in Quaker State history. Get a $4.20 cashback rebate to try new advanced high-tech formula Quaker State.
The winningest spark plug in NASCAR history. Champion. Performance you can count on.
ESPN Speed World of the Hooters 500 is being brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. And by Napa, we keep America running. Lake Speed relaxing once again under caution here at Atlanta. Another Ford driver, Morgan Shepherd, is also taking a breather here as they clean up the track from Rick Mast's blown engine. We invite you to stay with us at the end of our race because right after we conclude this event, we'll have a special shop talk featuring Davey Allison. And then the entire Speed World team will be back here at 5 o'clock Eastern Time with a live Speed Week. That's at 5 o'clock Eastern.
Eli Gold and I do that shop talk with Davey Allison, tribute to Davey Allison. And there is Lake Speed. That's what the 15 quality care car is going to look like next year.
Yep, they brought out the new colors in the last race here of '93, but that's what the car will look like. Well, it was a real good pit stop for our Kyle Petty, Ned.
Yeah, he was running about 13th, Bob, and now is in 6th position. So they really got him out in great shape.
Rusty in first, out first. Morgan stayed the same. Rudd from 3rd to 7th. Trickle 4th to 5th. Look at this. Elliott 5th to 12th. And Petty 13th to 6th.
Wow.
And John Kernan is with Rick Mast.
Well, guys, you're talking about a new look on a car. You see some red-blue trim on Rick Mast's Skull Ford. That's going to be the new look, the new uniform for next year. And you were wondering if he quite possibly had hit the wall. You said he came about as close as you could. Not a scratch on the side, but Rick, not much left inside the engine, is there?
No, I'm going to tell you, I'll never be so glad to get a season over with in all my life. We run good in every race but 4 or 5 races this year and had a problem. You know, we lost something under the hood today, but each week it's something different from one end of the bumper to the front, from the back bumper to the front bumper. You know, every week something's happening. The good part about it, you know, we're running good. I mean, about everywhere we go, the car's competitive, we're running good. The car felt super today. You know, I don't know how I'd have done at the end, but I'd have been up in there with them somewhere and finally let go. So, well, we get them next year.
Well, that's what you say. You don't say next week now. You say next year. Maybe they got rid of all that bad luck this year. Now let's go to Jerry Punch, who's on pit road with a report on Ernie Irvan.
Exactly. Ernie's been on and off pit road a couple of times, John. And the problem that when he hit the wall, the front pit wall, they broke the sway bar, one of the lower sway bar arms. You can hear them behind me. They're discussing what they're going to do. They brought Ernie in a couple of times. This is part of the bracket that snapped off that holds the sway bar in place. They have brought him back in. They put a new sway bar in. They're trying to, one by one, put these brackets back in position. They're going to bring him back in, set the sway bar, and then hopefully change tires and give him a chance to go back out and get a good finish if he can't here at Atlanta this afternoon. So they're still waiting for Ernie to come back in. He should make an entry on the pit road here momentarily.
The field is over in turns 3 and 4. Ernie is at the back of the line in turn number 3. Good crowd on hand for the finale of the NASCAR Winston Cup season.
Cheers. Champagne's not Corbel.
Corbel, for people who know champagne.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Red balls of fire. You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. But your love drives a man insane. You broke my will, what a thrill. Living at the razor, red balls of fire.
Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug.
You can see all the NFL action every Sunday. Sit back. Let us do the work. ESPN NFL Primetime. We'll find every bone-crushing hit, search out every key play, and mix insight from our pros into television's fastest hour of football. NFL Primetime. Tonight at 7 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Back at Atlanta from overhead, you'll notice the cars are on the wrong side of the wall here on the main straightaway. The field is being brought down pit road behind the pace car because it has been determined that someone is leaking oil. And so all the NASCAR inspectors move out to the yellow line there to look carefully to see if they can find out who it is that's leaking.
They had the same problem at Rockingham. They said the 2 crews pointed to the 3 car and said, "It's got to be Earnhardt, got to be Earnhardt." Didn't figure that. Never see the officials looking as the cars go by. I saw one of the officials talking to the 25 crew, but I don't know that they might have just been discussing the weather.
Which is still overcast.
Which is still, yeah. Latest update, it's overcast.
There's the 25 crew.
They're looking at his car as they go by.
Well, once again, we welcome the Bud 1 airship to Atlanta Motor Speedway as they help our coverage here today. George Shaftsma is the camera operator, hovering above the racetrack. We thought maybe at one time today it wouldn't be able to get into the air because of the low ceiling that we had here, but the fog has burned off. Partly cloudy skies overhead, mostly cloudy actually, and not a bad day for racing. Ernie Irvan is back on pit road.
So they must have fixed that sway bar problem that Jerry Punch explained, and now they are changing the tires.
This will allow us to do another field summary. For those of you who have switched over during what we probably believe is halftime of your favorite football game, you may want to stay with us. This is not bad at all. You can see that Rusty Wallace is leading this race, and he is in contention for the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. Bill Elliott, who is now running in 11th position, and there are 18 cars on the lead lap.
See a good number of cars that are 1 lap down. The signal's being given for 1 more lap, and we'll go back to green.
As you see when we get down to here now, Rick Mast is out. And with these other cars, Schrader's still on the racetrack, Horton's out. There's 6 cars now out of the race. That means the worst that Earnhardt could do would be 36th if he had a problem right now. A couple more cars, and he can turn all those horses loose and try to get to the front.
Go for it to win the championship.
And the race.
Now here it is. Here's the breakdown. Dale clinches if Rusty wins and Dale finishes in 34th position, and so on down the line.
But Rusty has to lead the most laps and win the race. So, and the way that's happening right now, I think he's probably going to lead the most laps because his car is good.
Well, after Harry Gantz sort of slowed down a little bit, Gantz a lap down. The yellow's back out again here now. So
it's going to be at least one more lap before we go back to green. As a matter of fact, Rusty Wallace has led 27 laps right now, and we have completed 112. Back with more live coverage from Atlanta in a moment.
Who's getting happy? Who's having fun? Who's been to Hooters? Come on, everyone, it's at Hooters. Hooters. Hooters makes you happy. Hooters makes you happy. Hooters makes you happy. Hooters makes you happy. Good times, great food, fun music, what a hoot. Hooters. Hooters. Everybody's getting happy at Hooters.
Top-ranked boxing. It's cruiserweight action as Al Ice Cold defends his International Boxing Federation title against Vincent Boulware. Championship Boxing Wednesday night live on ESPN.
Back in Atlanta Motor Speedway, here's what happens to solid steel when you drag it beneath the race car at 170 miles an hour. This is what's left of the sway bar arm that came off the car number 28 of Ernie Irvan. Absolutely ground away, part of the bolt ground away, and half the steel shaft is gone. But they've repaired the car, and he's back out as we're getting ready to go green. Bob?
We are ready to go green. The field comes out of corner number 4. Rusty Wallace at the point, and the green is out. Morgan Shepherd, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, and Dick Trickle are in the top 5. Lap 115 is the lap on which we resume competition.
Rusty with a good jump there. Kept Mark Martin and Harry Gant back there with little chance for them to get in front of him and get back on the lead lap.
Cars side by side. There's Jimmy Spencer back in the race on the outside of
Rick Wilson
and Sterling Marlin.
Yeah, Spencer has been running all the time. He went a lap down. He's not running as fast as he was early in the race, but he is still out there running.
Musgrave and Darrell Waltrip in a battle there momentarily. Now
Late Speed moves up beside of Darrell Waltrip, trying to take that spot away, and they're side by side going down in turn 1. Meanwhile, look here, Morgan Shepherd has caught Rusty Wallace. He had about a second lead just a moment ago.
He jumped out to a big lead, and Shepherd has run him down in a hurry in the sit-go forward.
Don't forget, in addition to the Drivers' Championship, we settled the Manufacturers' Championship here today. Ford and Chevy are nose to tail going in.
I tell you what, Ford may be pulling for a Pontiac today because Rusty can win the race and Ford can still win the Manufacturers' Championship. But if a Chevrolet was to run first or second and a Ford second or third, the Chevrolet will win.
Chevy trying to come back after Ford's title last year in the series. Morgan right on the back bumper of the Miller Genuine draft car.
And here's a mess.
Ted Musgrave, Kyle Petty, Ricky Rudd, Lake Speed, Darrell Waltrip, and Derek Cope.
Kyle Petty's crew got him up to, what, 6th place or something? Yeah. He's just not able to hold it.
No, that car is not up to the speed that we normally see the Mellow Yellow Pontiac. I don't know what the problem is. He didn't qualify well, had to take a provisional spot to get in the field, but certainly the crew did an outstanding job.
Bill Elliott and Wally Dallenbach are also in this mess, as Benny calls it. Bobby Labonte now pulls alongside of Kyle Petty.
Yeah, Kyle is definitely off the pace. Not quite right with that Mellow Yellow Pontiac. I see Phil Parsons in that 75 Factory Stores of America car.
Phil did a good job in that car today.
He's 15th right now on the lead lap.
Had to start at the rear of the field. I guess he starts the rear by changing drivers today.
Yep. So he has done a good job keeping the car on the lead lap, replacing Todd Bodine, of course, who wrecked yesterday.
But as we said just a few minutes ago, has been released from the hospital. They kept him overnight, but they have released him from the hospital. And apparently the only broken bone is in his hand.
That black car just went out of the picture is Mike Wallace. He's right behind Kyle Petty right now in the Duron paint car. He's been doing great.
He has. He's one of the cars on the lead lap today, and he's got some new sponsorship on it today. Besides Duron paints, Abco Office Furniture from Florence, Alabama came in and giving him some sponsorship. Now Mike's up there battling with Kyle Petty.
The third Wallace in the race. Rusty, Kenny, and Mike.
And all three of them are still in the race today. Mike has been trying desperately to get himself a full-time Winston Cup ride, and I think he has a lot of talent. He just hasn't had the right opportunity yet, but I think when he gets it, I think he'll prove to someone, whoever that might be, that he has the capabilities of running with these guys. He's showing it right now.
Let's find out what John Kernan has to say about this.
Dan, I'd have to echo your comments, and a lot of people in the garage area and around racing, a lot of the media have seen this young man race. They know that he's got the talent. He just needs the break. You talk about how well he's running today. That car that he's driving today, an old Rusty Wallace Pontiac, it was the same car that he had set the ARCA qualifying record with last year at this very racetrack. And he says he's hopeful he may have some things to announce in the next few weeks as to his future in Winston Cup or Busch Grand National for next year.
There you see the recent serial on Mike, started 23rd, and how he has achieved his current position of 15th.
He says that Abco Office Furniture Company has some possibilities, so let's hope something works out for him.
Meanwhile, back to the lead. Morgan Shepherd still dogging that 2-car. Rusty Wallace.
They pulled away from third place runner Jeff Gordon by a good distance.
Yeah, I'm not timing these cars to tell how fast they're running each lap, but I think that Rusty probably has not slowed down. I think that Morgan Shepherd has probably picked up speed.
I'm sure they made some adjustments on the sit-go forward during his last pit stop, and it's working for him.
We talked about how Chevy and Ford are in the battle for the Manufacturers' Championship, and look at that impressive statistic. 10 wins for Pontiac, and right now Pontiac is second as Shepherd takes the lead.
He just motored right on around.
Ford has won the last 4 events at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
This has been a good track for Ford over the years.
And it has put a good track for Morgan Shepherd, who now assumes command of the Hooters 500. Back in a moment.
My truck has 99,000 miles on it, and it's like a brand new engine.
America is talking about split fire.
I feel like I have a new engine.
No hesitation. You hit your passing gear, you're gone. Right now.
Split fire won a United States patent. It doesn't look like any other spark plug. It doesn't work like any other spark plug.
I love them. I have them on my motorcycle, my boat, and my car.
Love them. Love them.
Split fire at $5.99. America knows it only costs more till you use it.
I can say I've saved at least $3 to $4 a week.
I use lower octane now. It seems like it runs like I had the premium in there.
I'm probably getting, I would say about 20 miles more per tank full, and that's a lot for me.
They'll pay for themselves basically in the first 6 months you own them.
Split fire. It only costs more till you use it. Get guaranteed split fire benefits for all gasoline engines at leading automotive stores nationwide.
The 1993 NASCAR season was one wild ride. Now you can relive the excitement of all 30 Winston Cup races by ordering the 1993 NASCAR Year in Review home video. For just $19.98, you can experience the triumph at Daytona, the battle for the point championship, and the rookie season of the stars of tomorrow. To order, call 1-800-764-5441 or send $19.98 plus $4 shipping and handling to the address shown. Visa and MasterCard accepted.
Well, Christmas is coming, and that 93 NASCAR video will make a great Christmas gift. Rusty Wallace has gone back into the lead. And the 41 car of Dick Trickle, which had been falling back greatly, has now brought it onto pit road.
Evidently had a tire going down or something. They're coming in to change the right side, and they'll change the left side as well. But Trickle was having a great run in the Manheim Auto Auction car here today, but he'll go a lap down. Jerry, what's his problem? Was it flat?
Yeah, they think it was. Apparently, he had a vibration a couple laps ago. He had backed out of the throttle just slightly the last couple of laps, and then he decided to go ahead and come down and take no chances. NASCAR tells the drivers in the meeting as they've changed all 4 tires and he is away in the Manheim auction car. They tell the drivers, if you get a vibration, don't guess. Come down pit road. That's exactly what he did.
Yeah, that's good, smart thinking, because normally those vibrations don't go away. They normally get worse.
There you saw the interval between first and second as Morgan led only a couple of laps before Rusty reassumed command and now is pulling away a little bit from Morgan. In fact, there's the leaderboard. About a half second separates first and second, and about 9.3 seconds separates 1 through 5. John Kernan with a report.
Bob, you talk about Morgan Shepherd, how he seems to be dropping back a little bit. They started the race, they were very, very tight, so they made some pressure changes, and now the car is running very, very loose. So on the next pit stop, they'll have to tighten it back up. Right now, Morgan's having to hold on.
This is the battle for 9th position between Dale Jarrett in 18 and Darrell Waltrip in 17.
Which one's going forward, Ned? Is it Dale going forward?
Yeah, he's going forward. He came out of the pit 16th in that last pit stop. He lost about 6 positions, but they made another chassis adjustment on it. It seems to be working pretty well for him. Although Darrell's car is not working as good as it was earlier, I don't think.
There we see the 2 Chevrolets racing each other. As Dale Jarrett comes off the corner, he's able to go down on the racetrack, and Darrell Waltrip has to go up, and that's the difference.
Yeah, Darrell's having trouble keeping his car down there. Lake Speed passed him about 3 or 4 laps ago.
And Darrell Waltrip is another driver that you have to think will be glad when the 93 season is over. It has not been a good season for him. He will not win a race this year, apparently, and he will not even finish in the top 10 at points. He's 14th going into this race, and he always, of course, create a lot of interest and a lot of humor at the banquet that we will televise again this year, but he will not be on stage this year when we do bring you that banquet from the Waldorf Astoria. Here's Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt.
That's a race for 3rd.
Earnhardt seems to be closing in a little bit on Gordon.
I would think it's the closer that Dale gets to that number 34 finishing position, or at least a guarantee, the harder he will run.
Had another car just been pushed into the garage area a few moments ago. Rick Corelli in the Total Petroleum car. They pushed it in, so apparently he's out of the race. So
that means 7 cars not out of the race. Where Earnhardt can finish would be 35th.
On the super speedways, when you compare Dale and Rusty and their seasons that are just about to be completed, Dale scored 350 more points on the super speedways. Rusty 338 more points than Dale on the short tracks. In the Sears Point Road Course, Dale gained 106.
Well, Rusty won every short track there was, didn't he?
Well, almost.
He finished second in one of them, maybe.
Yeah, it was one of those races. I think he finished second in, but boy, he was strong in just every one of them.
And you always consider Rusty among the maybe handful or so that can win at Sears Point, but it was not a good race for him this year.
They broke the transmission.
Yep. And when you put them head-to-head for the Winston Cup, you will notice that Dale Earnhardt has 3 less victories than Rusty. Dale has led more races, the most laps in 9 of 8, has finished in the top 5 17 to Rusty's 18. Both have 20 top 10 finishes, and there is another important factor.
That is
two DNFs for Earnhardt and 5 for Rusty.
That is the most important graphic on that screen, the DNFs.
Rusty is the leader as he passes another car and puts the 02 of T.W. Taylor a lap down. 2:30 Eastern Time. Welcome if you're just joining us. We've completed 137 laps out of 328 in this Hooters 500 as Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt settle the championship for 1993. At the moment, Rusty Wallace is leading. He has led 50 laps, and Dale Earnhardt is running in 4th spot.
And I tell you what, there's a kid in Norfolk, Virginia that's awfully happy today. Christopher Brandt had a liver transplant, and he's doing fine. He finally got a donor and went up to the University of Virginia Medical Center and had it done. And he's a big Rusty Wallace fan, so I know Christopher's feeling great today.
And we wish you the best. John Kernan has more on that.
Well, Benny, while we're talking about that, Bobby Scruggs, a Busch Grand National official and also a Winston Cup official, who more or less my next-door neighbor back in Roanoke, Virginia. His mother is in the hospital back in Roanoke. She's recovering from a stroke. Bobby says she enjoys watching the races on ESPN, and he wanted us to say a big hello to his mother, Virginia Scruggs, who's back in the hospital recovering.
And I got one, too. You know, Steve Grissom won the Busch Grand National Championship this year, and his grandmother is ailing, and I believe he's already left to go be with her, so we wish her the best in her recovery.
And then while we're on that type of subject, did you talk to Stanley Smith? Wasn't he here?
I saw Stanley Smith Friday. Got in the garage here. You know, the guy who had that terrible crash down in Talladega in May. He came to the racetrack Friday, shook hands with me, and we talked a little bit, and he's doing great.
That is just great to see him back at the racetrack.
And there's a guy who's doing great, Dale Jarrett. He's on his way marching forward.
Just moved into
Interstate Battery Chevrolet.
Behind him is...
Oh, crashed down at turn 1. Looks like T.W. Taylor's backed into the wall down there.
Car slides to the grass.
That is T.W.
Yes, it is. The Children's Miracle Network Ford.
He has fouled up the rear portion of that car.
I believe you can...
Okay, who's trying to race Rusty back?
Hamilton got lap back. So you can scratch off another car and put another one out of the race, or so it would appear, as T.W. Taylor's car is badly damaged in the infield in turn 1.
He's moving around in the car, taking his helmet off now, so it's a good sign that he's okay.
Folks, the way I figured, that's 8 cars out of the race.
That gets it down to 34, though.
Are you going to be the one that says it? Or am I?
Why?
Or are we either one going to say it?
No.
There are 8 cars,
we think,
according to our calculations, that are out of the race.
Counting this one.
Yeah.
And he has no reason to fix the car to get back in the race because TW not running for points or anything else. So,
and if that is the case, then Dale Earnhardt has clinched the title. I'm not sure that we want to say that right now, but he gets closer and closer every moment. T.W. Taylor from Petersburg, Virginia, is out of the race car and walking around assessing the damage and appears to be okay. You can't say that for the race car because especially the rear part of it is very, very badly damaged.
Shaking hands with somebody. Meanwhile, pits are open, and here come the cars come down pit road.
Rusty, Morgan, Jeff, Dale, Bill, Ricky, Lake, Jarrett. Here's Jerry.
And our lead cars on the lead lap, will be getting 4 cars as expected. 2, 21, 3 in that order. As you're watching 3 pit stops here, Rusty Wallace and Pontiac now getting right and left side tires. Dale Earnhardt's crew likewise working on his Goodrich Chevrolet. And the car number 21, the Cisco Ford in the Wood Brothers car. Left side tires on Dale Earnhardt. Rusty Wallace is down and away. Great pit stop on the Miller Genuine Draft 2. Dale Earnhardt is still there getting his tires. Morgan Shepherd is already headed down pit road, so it'll be Rusty Wallace. Of those 3 you're watching, 18, car number 1, and of course the car number 21 of Morgan Shepherd.
18.1 second pit stop for Rusty. He was the best among the 3. Now other cars are rolling out, including Darrell Waltrip and Mike Wallace. John Kernan has a report.
Well, I'm sure the folks watching at home noticed that no chassis adjustment was made on Morgan Shepherd's Ford, and we told you how the car was running loose. They've done that with air pressure. What they have done is they've backed the pressure down by 1 pound all the way around it. Talking to Eddie Wood, he says he hopes that that is the right call because the car had gotten very, very loose on them.
All right, we are under caution here at Atlanta Motor Speedway because of an accident in turn number 1 involving T.W. Taylor. Back in a moment.
Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers know some problems can't be diagnosed in the shop. So they give their technicians a unique traveling companion, the Portable Vehicle Analyzer. It records engine data in ways no human eyes and ears can. Then it tells us what's wrong, so it can be serviced right the first time. Ford and Lincoln Mercury Quality Care, where the quality continues.
Okay, classic cars. 63 VAG. Split window. Right. 68 Camaro Super Sport. GTO, any year. Nice. Gran Torino. Starsky and Hutch. Good car. 65 Mustang Ragtop. It's obvious. 75 Pacer. Tail fins. Bumper bullets. Bench seats. Drive-ins. Boss 302s. 427 big block LED8 with an 850 double pump.
Beechwood aged Budweiser. Crisp, clean, classic.
About finished? How's it going? Great. We have a lot of good mechanics that shop at AutoZone. Well, you also have a lot of people who just want to save some money by doing a simple job themselves, like changing their oil or putting in new plugs. They just want to come in, get what they need, and get out. Well, at AutoZone, we have parts for just about every car made. So if you know what you want, great. But if you're not quite sure about something, no problem. We'll help. After all, that's what we're here for.
Trackbacks are brought to you by new advanced high-tech formula Quaker State Motor Oil. It's formulated for today's high-tech engines.
In Winston Cup racing, safety comes first. That has led to a change in the design of the steering column here at Quaker State Racing. Brad, if you would, share with us why.
The last race of the season in '92, I was involved in a pretty serious accident in Atlanta, sustained knee injury due to that accident. The reason for that was the way the steering column was mounted. This flat plate with adjusting slots, even though it was heavily padded, my knee came in contact with it, cut it open, injured it, bruised it pretty severely. We've decided to reevaluate the situation, come up with a new idea.
So for 1993, this is what the steering column looks like in many of the Winston Cup cars. Obviously much more streamlined, still has the adjusting holes up here, but you don't have those wide, sharp flanges where you can cut a knee upon impact. And Brett, something that isn't new but also gives the drivers a comfort level are these two fail-safe mechanisms here. This hinged area at the firewall to help absorb impact, and even further down, this collapsible rod, which will help absorb the impact within the column for those unexpected head-on collisions.
I tell you what, that telescoping thing is pretty nice because when these cars hit the left front and jam that corner back towards the driver, the fact that the steering box is able to telescope back towards the driver rather than pushing the steering wheel back in his chest, it's pretty doggone good deal. It really is.
Lake Speed working his steering wheel as the T.W. Taylor car is on the flatbed headed for the garage area. That's the reason for the yellow flag. And Jerry Punch can tell us about a new program involving wreckers on the highway and NASCAR. Jerry?
Well, it's a brand new program. In fact, I'm with Brian France, the Vice President of Marketing for NASCAR. And Brian, we've seen wreckers used at racetracks, and now you guys are going to do the same thing on the highway.
Well, we're going to do it. We're going to do it better than anybody else because who better to bring you roadside assistance than NASCAR? You know, whether it's towing, whether your car just breaks down, you lock yourself out of the car, whatever your problems, it's great peace of mind to have the NASCAR Advantage roadside assistance. No question about it, Jerry.
How do people get involved with this? How do they join?
Well, they call 1-800-862-7900. Right now, it's $54.95 for an annual membership, and that covers your wife as well. Wife, spouse, whatever car you're in, you can use the service. You don't have to use the service just one time. It pays for itself, so it's tremendous peace of mind. One call anywhere in America, actually anywhere in Canada as well, we'll find a towing vehicle in 30 minutes or less. We'll have it out there. That's our commitment.
And the only difference is guys, when you fall out of the car on the highway, we're not going to interview on ESPN. Here at the racetrack, we'll do it, but there we won't. But you'll get some good service anyway. It's a good program, guys.
All right, thank you, Brian and Jerry. And let's go to John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, I guess Bob, the car that could use that new service by NASCAR is Loy Allen's Ford. The TriStar Motorsports crew are going to work on it. I think you mentioned about him hitting a tire on pit road and dragging it around. Well, apparently it has punctured the radiator, and they've had to pull it behind pit wall. And now the crew is working very, very furiously. Let's listen in to him and see if we can sneak in.